We're 2 days away from one of the biggest game releases of the year, and it certainly helps to hear that one of the developers of the game claims this to be his, quote, personal masterpiece. We'll get into that, the game's file size, performance issues of the demo being acknowledged and addressed by the developers, and more in this final update to Final Fantasy XVI, before the game launches this Thursday, June 22nd. Before we get into it, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate the 2 winners of the Final Fantasy XVI giveaway I have held over the last month. With almost 1,000 participants, this giveaway had among the highest turnout I've had, so a big thank you to those who participated. A big congratulations to these 2 on winning the Final Fantasy XVI giveaway. I have already sent the emails to the winners, so to the 2 lucky winners who won, get back to me within 48 hours so that I can send you the download code. Remember to email me back within 48 hours or a new winner will be randomly selected. If you are looking to enter more giveaways, well, I have you covered if you are interested in Mortal Kombat 1, in which you can enter, linked in the description, to test your luck in winning the premium edition of the game, entitling you to play the game 5 days before the game officially releases this coming September. Alright, enough with the giveaways, right? On to the news. Ryota Suzuki, Final Fantasy XVI's combat designer, has said that Final Fantasy XVI is his, quote, personal masterpiece. Now, this is saying something, since Suzuki is an absolutely legendary combat designer, having created some of the best action games of all time in his 25-year career in the industry, having developed the combat in games like Devil May Cry 4 and 5, Dragon's Dogma, and Monster Hunter World. Calling Final Fantasy XVI's combat his own personal masterpiece speaks volumes about the quality of the combat that is on offer in Final Fantasy's 16th mainline entry. In a post on Twitter, Audrey at itaikimochi translated the message from Ryota Suzuki as he continues to go on, saying that the development team made it a priority to design, quote, the game's battle system to appeal to those who previously have not played or are not well versed in action games. The previous games that he has worked on are known to have incredible depth to their combat, featuring flashy combos with tough-as-nails gameplay, especially in the Devil May Cry series, in which this game's combat certainly resembles most. So it is nice to see Suzuki try to translate the fast-paced and aggressive nature of that series' combat here into something more manageable to digest for those less familiar with the hardcore action games. For those wanting more challenge in Final Fantasy XVI, we don't need to worry, as the game's Final Fantasy mode in New Game Plus certainly seems to provide a more spiced up challenge for seasoned players. If you want to learn more about that mode, consult this video here in the card on your screen or in the description. Suzuki concludes his statement with, I hope this game will give you a chance to experience the allure that an action game can bring. While players have been able to get a taste of the action during the demo's prologue section, those who have played the combat-focused part of the demo unlocked after completing the prologue have been praising the combat systems at play in Final Fantasy XVI. With that said, I'd like to know from you all in the comments about your feelings of the game's combat. Are you a fan of the more fast-paced, in-your-face combat displayed in this game? Or do you like more of the methodical, input-based combat systems, like the active time battle or turn-based systems more? Let me know in the comments. Moving on. We have the official file size for Final Fantasy XVI, landing at 90.18 gigabytes. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty hefty game, and although it may not come close to some of the Call of Duty games or Gran Turismo 5 for that matter, a nearly 100 gig file size for a Final Fantasy game definitely is large. While Final Fantasy VII Remake came in close to that, and with its follow-up in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming in 2 discs, that still doesn't mean that this game is going to be a small game in comparison by any means. In fact, we have news from the game's producer, Naoki Yoshida, perhaps better known as Yoshi P, that the game was originally planned to be on 2 discs. While this doesn't mean that 2 discs translates to a bigger game or a more massive game over those on a single disc, it is interesting that Yoshi P and Square were set on the game being on 2 discs as early as January of this year, but then realized that they wanted to squeeze it all on 1 disc. This was due to them trying to, quote, cut down on manufacturing costs. While we don't know if this led to cuts to the game's content, it could be more likely that more time was spent on optimizing the content in order to get everything onto one disc. Regardless, make sure you have at least 91 gigabytes of storage space freed up on your PS5s if you are intending on picking up this game when it launches this Thursday. Square Enix has paid attention to fan feedback and criticism of the game's massive demo that launched early last week, and remains committed to addressing and fixing some of the issues some players had with the demo. While the demo is regarded as one of the best, well-rounded demos in quite a while, some players did point out that there were some performance issues related to the game's frame rates on both the game's performance and fidelity modes, with frame rates dipping into the low 40s on the performance mode and as low as the low 20s in fidelity mode, especially during taxing sections of icon battles. Square Enix is reassuring fans that the team is aware of the demo's performance issues and seeks to address them. It should be noted that the demo was not the current build of the game, with players pointing out that the gameplay footage from the State of Play shown several months ago featured a more current build of the game, as shown in the version of the build on the title screen. Regardless of how old the demo build is, Yoshi P has confirmed that the team will be releasing updates to improve the game's performance. While the final build of the game may very well be releasing in a more consistent state performance-wise from the demo, this update could be applied to just the demo or even some further touches made to the final game. In a post from Japanese Video Game Insider on Twitter under the name Genki, this message shown on your screen details the development team addressing future updates to improve the performance of the game. These translations were done on a presentation Square Enix had called Feedback from the Demo. Whether the frame rate issues from the demo will manifest in the final game is yet to be seen, but even then, although it was noticeable to me, I felt the overall experience was quite awesome, even with some of the hiccups in the game's performance mode. That said, what are your thoughts on the game's performance of the demo? Do you want Square to address other areas of the demo? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
2 arms. It wouldn't do to disappoint the gallery.
It should be mentioned that Square is releasing a Day 1 update that addresses some bugs in the game that Square said is not a mandatory update. You can view a complete overview of that update in the video here on your screen. And yeah, if you're playing Final Fantasy XVI this Thursday, enjoy it. We've been waiting for this one for quite a while, so spend the next few months getting lost in this one. The consensus is this is one of the better games in the franchise, so this is a game we're not going to want to miss. Happy gaming, everyone, and I'll see you real soon in the next video. Peace.